Welcome everyone who's watching this video. This is Ultimate Academy's team, and we are still on the system setup topic, lecture number 3 of the ONYX financial track. Today we'll study how to set up the financial period, currencies, company and branch groups. Then we will learn how to add information for international zones, countries, provinces, cities and regions. We'll start first of all with the system period screen. The aim of the screen is to identify periods, either monthly or according to the user's need, within the financial year of the company, of course, which basically holds up all the inputs for financial transactions and financial reports as well. We should note that the system does not allow adding new financial periods in the screen after you've already entered a financial period. The user selects the accounting unit, first of all, and after you select the accounting period, within the financial year of the company, that will later on determine transactions and reports as well. So after clicking on add, the system will enable the option to make choices or entries in the screen. First of all, we have the number of period. So in this field, you can put the number of months or periods that you need to work with. Then after that, we have type of period. In here we have two choices, and these choices are either month-wise or user-defined. When we choose month-wise, the system will basically automatically give us the periods by month, which means that every period will start from the beginning of the month till the very end. For example, if we set the number of periods to 3 periods, for example, and you pre-select the beginning to be from January 2019. Let's try that and see the results that the system will populate. Alright, so the system will automatically populate the financial periods to be from January 1st to the 31st. The second period will be from February 1st to the 28th, which is the last day of February that year. And the third and last period will be from March 1st till the 31st. If, however, the user decided to go with user-defined, the system will let you manually select the length of each financial period. So it's not going to be automatic from the beginning of the month till the end. It's going to be basically based on your needs or the company's needs. Now we'll study the currency setup screen, and in this screen the user identifies each currency that will be used in the system. This screen is divided into two sections, main data and details data. As for main data, that section we will find the following fields. First of all, number, which is basically how the system gives the sequence of the numbers automatically according to the order that you added the currency in. So if this is the first currency that you're adding, it will take the number 1, which means that it's the first currency. And then we have currency name. So in that field, the user records the name of the currency that he will add in the local language, or not necessarily the local language, it could be just the main language of the system. Then we can add the foreign name, which is the name of the currency in any language other than the system's current language. So if you're using in English, it's going to be in Arabic and vice versa. Then there is the currency field. And this is one of the most important fields in the screen, where the user enters the currency code. This code should be clear and also international, such as USD, which is for the American dollar, and EGP for the Egyptian pound. And this field, of course, is mandatory. Then we have fraction, which is the smallest unit of the currency that is added to the screen, such as cent for the USD and piastre for the EGP. Then we have foreign name, which is the name of the fraction in other languages. Then the variables local, foreign, and stock currency. These variables identify the currency that the user added. Is it a local or foreign currency? And it also identifies the currency used by the facility in the evaluation of its stock. And it measures the cost of inventory, so the user can evaluate the inventory with the company's local currency, regardless of the inventory's currency that is used by the facility in the evaluation of financial transactions in the account of general ledger. There are two notes here that we must pay attention to. First of all, the user can't add more than one local currency. And the second note is that the user cannot modify stock currency after it has been used or entered in the inventory system screen. On the right, we'll see number of fractions. So the user can record or can set up the number of digits that the fractions will appear in. So let's say 2 or 3. And then after that, we have exchange rate, ex.rate, which stands for exchange rate, of course. This field appears only when the user activates foreign currency. So when you activate foreign currency, in order to determine the exchange of this currency to the local currency, of course, you're setting up the exchange rate. Notice that this price can be modified at any time of the financial year, and it can be modified by at the end of each month before the monthly closing process for the purpose of the evaluation of the different balances of accounts in the foreign currency. Exchange rate, of course, is mandatory. Then we can find maximum exchange rate and also minimum exchange rate. So as for maximum exchange rate, this field appears only when the user activates foreign currency, and in this field the user specifies the highest exchange rate, which of course no user can exceed unless it has been modified by the admin or someone else with this level of privilege. Then we have minimum exchange rate. This also appears when the user activates foreign currency, and in that field the user specifies the lowest exchange rate, which again no user can exceed unless it's been modified. Now let's discuss detailed data. It comes in tabs, as we will see right now. So we'll just get to the screen. Now as for detailed data, the first thing that we have here is exchange price tracing, and that's basically the history of the currencies that have been added on the system before. The system shows you all the data of the currencies and the changes that occurred during the financial period. So the system retains all the exchange rates of the foreign currency during the financial period, of course, in addition to the highest and lowest rates as well, of course, as the code of the user who modified the exchange rate and the date of the modification during the financial period. So you will basically be able to see who last modified the exchange rates. The next tab is users limits. This field appears only when the user activates foreign currency in order to identify the highest and lowest rates for a specific user by adding the user's code in that field. That's called user number, which stands for user's code, of course. Tab number 3 is cash categories. So in that tab we can record the cash categories for this currency. For example, a $10 note or a $100 note, and same goes for the Egyptian pound or any currency. And now we will move on to a different screen, which is international zone screen. In this screen, the user can divide the international regions as they desire, or as the business needs, such as the Middle East, North Africa, and these regions, if the company, of course, has a branch or a vendor or even a customer in these regions. Also, the user can utilize regions in the shipping system when you're paying for shipping and so on. Let's see how the user can use the screen. First of all, we'll click on Add, so the fields will allow data entry. Then the first thing that we have is zone number. The zone number appears in the screen automatically in the right order, so this is going to be the first zone that we're adding. Then zone name, so you can enter the zone's name in the main language of the system. Then we have foreign name, which is the zone's name in a foreign language. Then we have short name, which is a shortcut basically that represents the zone name, like MENA, I suppose. Then the user must click on save to save the data that was entered. Otherwise, the data will be discarded when you leave the system. But if you're leaving the screen without saving, the system will alert you anyway, or it will ask for confirmation. Now we'll move on to country screen. So when we go there, you will see in the screen that the user can specify the countries in which the company has one or several branches in. Additionally, the specified country is linked to its provinces, in case the company is local or international. Also, the system generates reports in general ledgers, sales and purchases, and stores based on the country. Now let's see how the user can use the screen. First of all, we'll click on Add. The fields in the screen will become available for adding new data. And first of all, we have the country number. So the country number again appears in the right order according to which was added on the system first. So again, this is going to be the first country that we're adding. Then we have country name, which is the name of the country again in the system's main language. Then we have foreign name, and I guess that now goes without saying. You know that foreign name is basically the name of the country in a language other than the system's main language. Then country's short name, which is, for example, US, which stands for United States, or EG, which stands for Egypt. And here you can write the name of the continent. So I think we'll go for Africa, obviously. Then we have local currency. So as for local currency, in that field the user chooses the local currency of the country that they've selected through a list of currencies that you've already added on the system. You can hit F9 to show the list. So if we've already added the Egyptian pound, we will find it there. After that, we have the zone number. In this field, you can enter the zone number, which is basically the group of countries that you have entered before in the international zones. Then we have nationality. In this case, it's going to be Egyptian, clearly. And foreign name is basically the nationality in a different language other than the system's main language. Then short name, which is a shortcut for the nationality. I highly doubt that this field would be used that much, but it's there in case it's needed. And at the end, there is this variable, which is prohibition of dealing. If you activate this variable, the system will block this country, which means that you can no longer deal with it on the system. I think that's all for this screen. We will move on to the next one, which is provinces screen. In the screen, the user can enter the province's details, in which the company has a branch or an agent or a customer in, and the system will generate reports in sales and purchases in stores and financial reports based on the province. Let's see how that works. So I think this also goes without saying right now, because the province number is basically the ordinal number and it appears automatically. Then the province name. Then we have the foreign name, which is the name of the province in a different language. And short name is a shortcut for the city's name. You can just write anything that would make sense to you, basically. After that, we have the country number. So we only have one country that we've entered, which is Egypt. You can, of course, also click on F9 to show the list of the countries that you've already added. And the last thing that we have here is zone number. So in this field, you can enter the zone number from the zones that you have selected or specified already. Let's move on to the next screen, which is cities. In the screen, the user can enter the city's details, in which the company has a branch, employees, or customers in. And the system will generate reports in sales, purchases, stores, and financial reports for the selected city. First of all, the city number. The number refers to the order that you're adding cities in. Then city's name, so the name of the city in the system's language, whether it's English or Arabic, and foreign name is in the opposite language. Then short name. Then we have the country number. So it's going to be country number 1 as well. But I guess we'll have to choose the province number and zone number first of all, so that this field would become available, because I think we have to specify more information for the system. And now it's filled automatically because we only have one province that we've entered so far. After that, we have we need to save, basically, so that the changes would not be discarded. Next, we'll move on to the region detail screen. In the screen, the user can enter the areas within the cities and link these areas with sales and purchases, stores and customer data, as well as controlling the customer's transactions and the financial reports as well within that area. So the system will generate reports in the general ledger, sales, purchases, and stores based on the region or the area. We have two tabs in the screen: main data and statistics data. Let's see how the first tab works. We will go to main data. First of all, we have the region code, the order in which you're adding the regions. So the first one you add will be number 1, the second will be number 2, etc. Then we have the region name. So in this field you will enter the name of the region in the system's language. We went for 6th area, or area number 6, and then foreign name, which is the name of the area in a foreign language. That field is optional, you do not have to fill that in. Then we have city. You'll choose the city that area or region is located in, and this area will show you the list of cities that you've entered before. Alright, so that's it for this screen. We'll move on to statistics data, or for this tab I mean. Now moving on to the next tab, it shows statistical data for the sales movement in that region or area, where it identifies the document type, currency, and amount related to that region, of course. Alright, so we'll move on now to screen's backgrounds. So in this screen you can basically just change the system screen color. It's pretty self-explanatory. You will click on modify first of all, so that it would allow you to change the theme. Then the numbers that we see on the left here is basically just a number for the design itself. So the desired theme, you can just click on the number and it will be activated. The name is the theme's name. Obviously you can just tick the theme's checkbox to choose it, and that's it. Now we'll go to a different screen, which is branches group screen. We'll just have to save this first of all, or just exit. Alright, so in this screen the user can add branches groups as desired, or as the business needs. You can also link the branches in branches detail screen to a group or a specific group, and the system will later on generate reports in the general ledger, sales and purchases, and stores as well, based on the group that you have created. These groups can be divided by geographic location or by the nature of the business in terms of wholesale and retail, and all these divisions come according to the policy followed in the facility or the company or the enterprise. So after you click on add, the fields will accept data entry as we can see here. First of all, the number, which is the group number, appears in the screen automatically. Then group name, which is the name of the group in the system's language, and foreign is any other language. Don't forget to click on save so that your data would not be discarded. Now let's move on to company detail screen. So in this screen the user can define the company's details that has a single branch or several branches as well. So the user can also open and manage several companies within the accounting unit. He can get reports based on the company. Also, he can modify the company's data. The only thing basically that you cannot modify is the company's ordinal number. So if it's company number 1, you cannot modify that. The user can also set a special logo for each different company. Let's see how that works here. After clicking on add, the fields will open so you can enter data. So the company's number. Basically, when you're setting up the system, there has to be a company to base the information on, and it takes the ordinal number 1, so it's the first company on the system. Any company that you add onto that will take the number 2, then the number 3, and so on. After that, we have the company name, foreign name, short name, and also foreign name. I believe that we already know what the kind of information that we need to put in each of those fields. Then we have remarks. So in this field, the user enters any data related to the company's location, region, country, or any important details. Basically, it's like a note. Then we have a group code. So the user can put several companies that have a homogeneous activity in a single group. So the user can choose the group number, for example, food companies group or anything like that. Then we have the country number. Through this field, the user can choose the country which the company is located in, from a list of course shown when you press F9, and that is the companies that you've already entered on the system before. So this actually concludes today's lecture. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for listening.